John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Serious testing, successful hunting. I'm here in Des Moines, Iowa at my favorite bow shop. It's Archery Field and Sports. They've been in business like almost 4 decades. They know their stuff. Incredible shop owner and techs that work on your bow. I just feel 100% confident bringing my bow here. They carry all the major lines of bows, have every accessory just about that I can think of, or can order those that I don't have at a decent price. And then they have this incredible indoor range. I love shooting here. I can go out to 40 yards, or when no one's around, I can go way back into the shop and shoot even farther than that. They have 3D targets. They have a little practice or a little private lane over there that you can shoot at, and an outdoor area, outdoor range that you can go out to 100 yards. So I really appreciate them letting me test their bows here. If you're ever in the Des Moines area, or in central Iowa for that matter, come and check out this shop. Today I'm going to be testing the Bowtech Solution. They have 3 different models for 2021, one that they released a few months ago, and 2 that they just released a day ago. And so I'm really excited to test these bows out. I've got the Solution SS, and the Solution SD. What they've done this year with the Solution is they've continued the deadlock technology that we first saw in the Reckoning and the Revolt in a new bow and a new cam. And that deadlock cam that we saw before, in case you're not familiar with it, man, it makes the bow super easy to tune very well. I consider it the greatest advance in bow tuning yet. And it's also super simple and user-friendly. It's nice for those who don't have a ton of knowledge about tuning their bows, or don't have easy access to a great shop where they can get help. Gosh, you can do it yourself and super tune, fine tune your bow, which makes a great difference in long range accuracy, especially of fixed blade broadheads, as well as penetration, because your arrow is flying so cleanly and straightly. And then with the deadlock technology, it all just locks in, and it's so nice to not have to worry about losing your tune throughout the season or throughout a given year. Then they have the deadlock pocket that they've continued as well, and that just provides a super rigid platform to also aid in accuracy. And then they have the deadlock cable containment, which reduces torque and again aids in accuracy. They've continued the clutch performance grip that has 2 different models, that changes the angle of your grip based on what's more comfortable for you and what's more accurate for you, again, just to aid in accuracy. And then they continued the orbit dampeners, which you can add on extra ones. They're like a heavy little dampener, and you can screw on pretty much as many as you want, and it increases the weight of your bow, but man, they really work at reducing the vibration, the hand shock, and so forth. And they've continued to have 13 different colors that you can mix and match the limbs and the risers and figure out what you like in a bow. I want to just go through some of the specs of each of the models. This is the Solution SD, which stands for short draw. The draw length on this is interesting. It goes from 23.5 inches to 28.5 inches. So it's catered to shorter draw shooters, which is really nice. They can get a high-end bow even in a shorter draw. And as such, with a shorter draw, only maxing out at 28.5 inches, its IBO is listed at 323. But don't let that fool you. It's a pretty fast bow. If you were to measure it at 30 inches, which is the normal IBO, then it definitely would be a bit faster than that. You notice that the cams overall are a bit smaller than most of the other Bowtech cams, and I'll be showing that when I look at the other Solution models in a bit. The brace height is a generous 7 inches. Again, the axle is 30 inches, and given that smaller cam, the overall profile, like end to end of the cams, is relatively short. So it's especially good for maneuvering in ground blinds or tree stands where there's a branch overhead or something like that, walking through heavy brush. It's nice in that regard. The draw weights come in 50 pounds, 60 pounds, and 70 pounds. And like all of the Bowtechs, there's both a performance setting and a comfort setting, which changes the feet per second by about 8 to 10 feet per second, depending on the draw length and so forth. And the weight of this came in at 4.3 pounds. Now that's the weight with the whisker biscuit added. So just kind of the raw weight, we put it on a scale with the whisker biscuit, 4.3 pounds. Now, our scale isn't like a super certified postal scale, but it'll be consistent, and so it'll show you the difference between the models as we go through them. Now, here's the SS, and SS stands for super smooth. It's their super smooth drawing model. All of them are supposedly going to be really smooth bows, but this one is extra designed for smoothness. And you notice the cams are quite a bit different from the SD. They're much bigger, and as such, the overall length from the end of one cam to the end of the other cam, it's a little over an inch longer than the SD, even though it's also a 30-inch axle-to-axle bow. The brace height on this, similar to the SD, is 7 inches, so generous brace height. And you notice that the risers are actually really similar, if not identical, in these two bows. Now this one comes in a draw length of 25 inches, 25 and a half inches, all the way out to 31 inches. And the IBO is 332. The weight on this came in at 4.5 pounds with that whisker biscuit added. Now this is the solution. It's not the SS or the SD, it's just the solution. And it's really their speed bow of this year's solution models. It's got an axle-to-axle of 32 inches, which is 2 inches more than the other two models, so it's going to be a bit more forgiving. The cams are really similar to those on the SS, but as you notice, they're just a little bit different there in the design, but similar, and they're a bigger cam, again, than the SD is. The brace height is 6 inches as opposed to 7 inches, so that's going to give you a little bit more speed to it. And the IBO is 346, which is really close to the IBO of the SR6. This also comes in 50, 60, and 70 pounds, and like all the Bowtechs, it has the performance setting and the comfort setting as well, which changes the speed by about 8 to 10 feet per second. And the weight of the solution comes in at 4.7 pounds. That extra axle to axle just adds a little bit weight, and again, that includes the whisker biscuit there. Now I'm going to draw these and shoot these for the first time and just explain as best I can how it feels in my hand. First, this is the SS. Yeah, that's incredibly smooth. Super smooth. Excellent back wall. Man, that's an incredible back wall. Ooh, that's a nice letdown. It doesn't pull away, but it also isn't something you have to push away. It's kind of like as you would hope it would be, or as you would expect it to be. That's at least in my opinion. Nice. Now, I don't have a sight on it or anything, but as far as I can tell, it holds on target very well. It's well balanced. Let's see the shot. Ooh, that's a really nice shot, okay? Just very little hand shock, even with a bare bow. That's nice. Okay, now the SD. It's nice. Definitely has a bigger hump than does the SS, as expected. Excellent back wall. Okay, for the letdown, it's the kind that you have to push away just a little bit, and then it pulls once you push a little bit. It holds very well, as far as I can tell, man. It holds really well on target. Nice shot. Very little hand shock, especially for a bare bow. Okay, now the solution. Okay, it's very smooth, a little bit harder to pull than the SS as expected, but not a hump like you find in the SD. Excellent back wall. Holds really well on target as far as I can tell. Ooh, and the letdown, it lets down pretty quickly, okay? That's not a bad thing. You gotta keep some back pressure on it. You gotta push against the back wall to hold it at full draw effectively, but that's good. It forces you to do that and, you know, make sure that you're not creeping, but you gotta be careful in the letdown. It's a nice shot. It's definitely got a little more hand shock than the SD and then the SS as expected with the speed that it's generating, but still for a bare bow, that's a really nice shot. Now I'm going to test the speed of all these bows. They're all set up at 60 pounds, 27-inch draw, and on the comfort setting. So on the performance setting, you're definitely going to get more speed, but a lot of people shoot them on the comfort setting, so that's what I want to test here. And this is a 385 grain arrow. First, the SS. .245. Now the SD. .248. Now the solution. .259. Now I'm going to test the sound of each of these bows being shot with a decibel meter. Now again, this isn't a sound chamber, okay? This is just like a shop, and so there's ambient noise in here. This isn't going to be the total sound that the bow makes upon shot, but it will give a good comparative data point to see how it is for the different models, all in a bare bow. First, the SD. .76. Now the SS. .75. And now the solution. .78. So what do you think of the new solution bows? Man, I think Bowtech has come out with some real winners here. I've loved my SR6, and I still love my SR6, but I love that deadlock technology, that deadlock cam, the tunability, and the way it can just be locked in a lot. And so I've wanted an SR6 with that technology, and that's really similar to what they've come out with here with the solution. As for which one is really the best, it totally depends on you and what you're looking for. The SD appeals to me because I'm a short draw shooter, and I especially like the overall low profile. I mean, that was nice. It's super maneuverable. The SS was incredibly smooth, and man, that was nice, but it was just so smooth. That was appealing as my shoulders get a little bit more aging here. But then the solution was just really nice as well because it got so much more speed, and yet it still just drew very nicely. So I think there's something for everyone here in this solution. When I first saw that there's 3 models of the solution, I thought, well, that's not a solution. That's just kind of a further problem. I need a solution to the solution. Which one's going to be right for me? And yet, as I shoot them and as I really look at the specs, I realized, no, that's the beauty of it. That in the solution being in 3 different models, there really is a solution for everyone. It's just a function of what you want in a bow and your frame, your hunting style, and so forth and so on. So I want to encourage you to go to a local shop and test these bows out and see which one really is a fit for you. Great job, Bowtech.